If you're a man over 50, the first hour after you wake up tells you everything about your hormones. How you feel at 7 a.m. is not random. It is not just whether you slept well. It is not just whether you went to bed late. It is a precise hormonal report card, delivered to your body every single morning, based on what happened inside you while you were sleeping. Most men have no idea this is true. They wake up tired. They wake up anxious. They wake up stiff. They wake up foggy, and they shrug. They assume that's just what it feels like to be over 50. Here's what the research actually says. Your body produces, regulates, and rebalances dozens of hormones while you sleep. Cortisol shifts, growth hormone releases, testosterone production peaks, melatonin clears, insulin sensitivity resets. Inflammation either resolves or doesn't. If your hormones move through the night the way they're supposed to, you wake up feeling sharp, calm, and ready. If they crash overnight, if they get stuck in the wrong patterns, you wake up feeling exactly the way most men over 50 feel every morning. By the end of this video, you'll know 5 specific morning symptoms that signal a hormonal crash. You'll know exactly which hormone is responsible for each one, and you'll know what you can do starting tonight to start changing the pattern. Stay with me until symptom number 3. That's the one almost every man over 50 dismisses as just getting older. But it has nothing to do with age. It is a direct signal of 2 hormones working against each other while you slept. First, let's understand why morning is such a powerful hormonal window. When you wake up, your body undergoes one of the largest hormonal transitions of the entire day. Cortisol surges, testosterone peaks, melatonin drops to almost zero, blood pressure climbs, body temperature rises. In a healthy, hormonally balanced man, these shifts are smooth. They happen in the right sequence. They produce the energy and alertness you're supposed to feel in the morning. In a man with disrupted hormones, these shifts go wrong. The cortisol surge is too sharp. The testosterone peak is missing. The melatonin lingers too long. The inflammation from yesterday hasn't resolved. And every one of these mismatches produces a specific, recognizable symptom. Let's go through the 5 most common. Symptom number 1, waking up anxious for no reason. You open your eyes. Your heart is already beating a little faster than it should. Your mind is already racing. You don't even know what you're worried about yet. It's just there, waiting for you, the moment your eyes open. Most men assume this is stress, or that they had a bad dream, or that there's something specific on their mind. It usually isn't. This is called the cortisol awakening response, or CAR. In a healthy man, cortisol rises gradually from around 4 a.m., peaking about 30 to 45 minutes after you wake. It gives you energy for the day. That's its job. But in men over 50 with chronic stress, poor sleep, or disrupted circadian rhythm, this cortisol response becomes exaggerated. The rise is too steep, it overshoots. And the result is a wave of anxiety that hits the moment you become conscious, sometimes before. Research published in journals including Psychoneuroendocrinology and the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism has documented that an exaggerated cortisol awakening response is one of the most reliable signs of chronic stress dysregulation in older adults. The practical move. The single most powerful intervention is to delay your phone reach. Don't pick up your phone for the first 30 minutes after waking. Phone use during the cortisol awakening response amplifies the spike. It is one of the most damaging things you can do to your morning hormones. Symptom number 2, waking up exhausted, even after 7 or 8 hours of sleep. You slept all night. You didn't wake up. You went to bed at a normal time, and you still feel like you haven't slept. This is one of the most common complaints in men over 50, and it points to one of 2 things, sometimes both. First, sleep apnea, which I covered in detail in my first video on the 3 a.m. wake-up. Second, and more often missed, is low DHEA, the hormone I covered in my previous video. DHEA influences deep sleep architecture and overnight cellular repair. When DHEA is low, you can spend 8 hours in bed and only generate 4 hours worth of restorative sleep. If you sleep your full hours and still wake up tired, your hormones are not finishing their overnight job. The practical move. 2 things help. First, get a DHEA blood test, as we discussed. Second, treat your bedroom like a sleep laboratory. Dark, cool, quiet, no screens for 30 minutes before bed. Most men over 50 underestimate how much their environment affects deep sleep. Symptom number 3. Stiff, aching joints in the first 30 minutes of the day. This is the one almost every man over 50 dismisses as just getting older. You get out of bed and your knees feel locked, your hips feel tight, your shoulders ache, your hands feel stiff. The first 10 steps from the bed to the bathroom feel like you've aged 20 years. Then, slowly, as you move, the stiffness fades. Most men blame this on arthritis, or on the way they slept, or on what they did yesterday. But here's what the research actually shows. Morning stiffness in men over 50 is often a direct signal of two hormones working against each other while you slept. The first is cortisol. In a healthy man, cortisol has a strong anti-inflammatory effect that helps resolve overnight tissue inflammation. But in men with chronically dysregulated cortisol, too low at night, spiking too early in the morning, that anti-inflammatory action doesn't happen properly. Inflammation accumulates in joints overnight instead of clearing. The second is growth hormone. Most of your body's growth hormone is released during deep sleep. Growth hormone is essential for tissue repair, including the cartilage and connective tissue in your joints. As you age, growth hormone declines significantly. By 60, you produce a small fraction of what you did at 30. Less overnight repair means more morning stiffness. This is why some men in their 60s wake up feeling like their joints are made of rust, while other men of the same age with the same activity level wake up loose and ready. The hormonal pattern overnight is the difference. The practical move. Sleep is everything for this one. Protected, deep sleep is when both cortisol regulation and growth hormone release happen. Cut alcohol in the evenings. Late evening drinking suppresses growth hormone release dramatically. And consider gentle movement in the first 10 minutes after waking. Short walks, stretches, anything that increases circulation through stiff joints. Symptom number 4, heaviness or dread on waking. You open your eyes and the first feeling that hits is not energy, it's heaviness, or low mood, or a vague sense of dread about the day ahead. Most men attribute this to depression, or to whatever is going on in their life. Sometimes it is, but often it is the cortisol to DHEA ratio I discussed in my previous video. When DHEA is low and cortisol is high, the hormonal pattern of chronic stress, your brain wakes up in a low-grade alarm state. Your neurosteroid balance is wrong. Your nervous system is primed for threat rather than energy. And the mood that follows isn't a thought, it's biochemistry. This is one reason men in their 50s and 60s often feel they have lost some essential lightness they used to have in the morning. Some piece of life energy that used to greet them when they opened their eyes. It's not gone, it's blocked by a hormonal pattern that can be measured, and in many cases corrected. The practical move. Manage your cortisol load before bed. No phones in bed, no work emails after 9 p.m., no alcohol after dinner, and consider a few minutes of slow breathing before sleep. The lower your cortisol the previous evening, the better your morning balance the next day. Symptom number 5. Brain fog in the first hour. Your eyes are open, your body is up, but your mind feels like it's wading through fog. Names take longer to come to you, thoughts feel slower. You can't focus on what you wanted to do first. This is one of the most under-recognized hormonal symptoms. When cortisol surges too sharply in the morning, it can temporarily impair the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for focus and decision-making. When insulin is dysregulated, blood sugar in the first hour can drop sharply, starving the brain. When melatonin lingers too long because of poor sleep, mental clarity is delayed. 3 different hormonal patterns. 1 common symptom, morning brain fog. The practical move. Don't grab coffee on an empty, dehydrated stomach. Drink a full glass of water first. Eat protein within an hour, and get sunlight within 30 minutes of waking. As I covered in my video on what strong 70-year-olds do in their first hour, morning sunlight is one of the most powerful resets for cortisol, melatonin, and brain clarity all at once. Here's what I want you to take from this video. If you recognized yourself in 3 or more of these symptoms, your hormones are crashing overnight on a regular basis. You're not broken. You're not failing. You're not just getting old. You are experiencing the consequences of overnight hormonal dysregulation that has been documented in medical research for decades. And the good news is this: almost all of it is reversible. The men who feel sharp, calm, and energetic in the morning are not lucky. They are not genetically gifted. They are men whose evening and overnight habits protect their hormonal balance, and whose morning routines amplify it. You don't need a perfect routine. You need 3 things: real sleep, lower evening cortisol, and a morning that starts with water, sunlight, and movement before your phone. That single combination, repeated daily, will rebuild your mornings within weeks. If this video helped you, share it with another man over 50 who has been waking up feeling like a stranger in his own body. Most men have lived with these morning patterns for so long they've forgotten what a good morning is supposed to feel like. Sharing this with one person you care about could help them remember. And please, always consult a qualified physician about persistent symptoms or before making major changes if you have a diagnosed condition. What we covered today is research-based education, not personalized medical advice. In the next video, I'm going to take you deeper into one of the most important and least discussed hormones in male aging. A hormone that quietly rises in your body decade after decade, that you cannot feel directly, that accelerates how fast you age more than almost any other internal substance, and that has 3 specific signs telling you right now whether yours is already too high. If you want to understand your body better as you age, subscribe, because the most powerful thing a man over 50 can do is not push harder, it's understand deeper. I'll see you in the next one.